I'm back. Welcome to the brand new season of Peter Fershlogner's Douchey Internet Reviews for douches who like internet reviews. What's that? You guys want me to review a video game for you? Oh, that sounds like a great idea. But before we do that, why don't you guys check out my super awesome wall of awesome? Check out my awesome Space Ghost poster. That's from when I watched Kung Pao in the movie theaters. This is super cool Inuyasha wall scroll is given to me by a buddy of mine, Aztec31. But enough about that stuff, guys. Let's take a look inside our Bookman's bag and see what game we're going to be reviewing. That. But Peter, you promised your fans new reviews 6 months ago, and you spent all that time jerking off and playing Grand Theft Auto 5. Shut up.
You know I helped make this game, Peter, so I gotta agree with this asshole over here. You should seriously review it.
Fine, I'll review the game. Ecco the Dolphin is a game where you play as Echo, a cute little dolphin faced with the simple task of using time travel to save the entire planet from an alien menace known as the Vortex, who survive by using giant interplanetary machines to suck living organisms from the surface of the Earth, where they'll be transported back to planet Vortex to be consumed by the Vortex creatures whose ever-growing hunger will lead to
the eventual demise of all living things on the planet Earth.
Well, that can't be right. I thought this was a kid's game. Maybe it said something about the story in the instructions manual. Let's see here. Starting up, a look at Echo's life, take control. Disaster? Live a dolphin's carefree life in the pleasant waters of Echo's home. Splash and play. Dive deep to explore the curiosities of sea life on the ocean bed. Teach yourself to leap, then learn to fly. With a swish of your fluke, you can jump higher and higher. The sky flashes red. A great wind of water rips everything upward, tearing the life out of the sea. Only you, Echo, are left, alone in the watery emptiness that now seems far too big. As you dart here and there, searching the surface and plunging to the bottom, you realize a terrible truth. Everyone has vanished. Having fun yet, kids? Echo is one of those games that seems innocent enough at first, but then it dives into a crazy fever dream of insanity. I mean, the game does kind of hint at the fact that it's deeper than it looks on the surface. Echo, if we breathe air, why do we live beneath the waves? If we breathe air, why do we live beneath the waves? Man, if I was Echo, I'd be like, well, it's a little early to be getting all philosophical, isn't it, fellas? I was just thinking we, swim around and eat some fish or something. How high in the sky can you fly? Oh, I don't know. I never thought about it. Let's try it out. So once you go through the seizure-inducing vortex storm and your family is sucked away, the gameplay begins. So you just swim around, rescue dolphins, and bark at crystals. How hard can it be, right? The answer is really f***ing hard. Ecco the Dolphin is one of the hardest games I've ever f***ing played. Just about everything is working against you in this game. Jellyfish, sharks, ancient sea creatures, ocean currents, coral, your oxygen level, even the little fishes you eat for health can attack you. This game ranges from tough to f***ing insane. There's no middle ground. You're barking at crystals, battling currents, dodging crabs, and desperately trying not to run out of oxygen in the process. And that's the easy part. Wait until you get to the ice stage and you're slipping around like a fish out of water. There's no doubt that this is a difficult game, but before we go into depth with the difficulty, let's talk about the gameplay. Echo controls like a dolphin. I mean, I'm not a dolphin, so I'm only guessing, but basically you're free to move about in any direction. You can gain speed, jump into the air, swim in circles, even turn on a dime. You can also bark at stuff and use your peck attack. Later in the game you get like a special death screech attack and stuff. And you're going to need to utilize all of those things in order to complete these stages. The stages themselves are like individual puzzles. Sometimes you're rescuing other dolphins who become trapped below the ocean. Other times you're fighting giant lightning spewing DNA strands. But mostly you're just barking at crystals. Or glyphs. Also, there aren't any checkpoints in the stages. So if you die, you have to start from the beginning. Boy howdy, that's not very good for my f***ing blood pressure. My doctor told me never to play this game because it's bad for my heart, but I'm sure I'll be fine. This is one of those games that constantly tests your patience. The harder things get, the more frustrated you become. The more frustrated you become, the worse you play. You really gotta stay focused and patient, and that's hard to do when you're losing your shit. Fun! Okay, let's talk about time travel. Anything that involves time travel is f***ing confusing. But this game takes it to a whole new level. There's a part in the game where you're told to visit an ancient and wise creature called the Asteroid, who will help you save your family. However, he's missing one jelly bean, and needs you to travel 55 million years back in time, find him in the past, and steal the jelly bean from his past self in order to return it to him in the future so he can become whole again. Well, hold on a fucking second. Now, I'm no scientist, but wouldn't it make more sense to not have Ecco go back in time to retrieve the jelly bean? If you didn't send him back, he wouldn't be missing it in the first place, right? Hey, I guess you're not so wise after all, you fucking idiot. So once you steal the jelly bean from his past self and bring it to his future self, he gives you superpowers. And then he's all like, Ecco, use the time machine to go back in time to the moment right before the vortex creature sucked up your family. So you go back to the city of forever, which takes for fucking ever, so I guess the name makes sense. There's no way that's a coincidence. I bet you anything they named it that. On purpose. Okay, no more jokes. Shit's about to get real. So you go back in time and get sucked up into the vortex storm where you're transported via giant tube to planet Vortex. The stage is pretty easy. If you make it past the beginning part, you can just stay in the middle and screech your way to victory. Okay, what's next? I can tell you from personal experience, the pain and suffering this stage has brought upon me is immeasurable. This is one of those stages that moves with the screen. You also have to deal with wall dice that shoot boogers at you and horrifying squid aliens at every turn. And if you screech off their heads, they still come after you. Enjoy your nightmares, kids. This is a giant claustrophobic moving maze cluttered with monsters and machinery. No, please, it's one of the hardest stages I've ever played. And even if you beat it and get to the Vortex Queen, you better be ready for the fight. Because when you die, it sends you back to the beginning of the machine. It's time to put this chapter of my life behind me. It is time to beat Ecco the Dolphin. But in order to beat this game, I must channel the power of the dolphin. It is time. Alright, here's the deal. Even though this is one of the hardest games I've ever played, and it's not perfect, it's an incredible game. The fact that it's so difficult just means you feel that much more accomplished when you finally pull through and beat a stage. And it's that feeling of accomplishment mixed with the awesome music, well-designed gameplay, and absolutely out there storyline that makes this game so awesome. I mean, I can't imagine a more ridiculously original idea for a game. I give Ed Annunziata's awesome game Ecco the Dolphin 5 frustrated f***s out of 5. Now subscribe if you're not a
Attribution.